All your base art belong to us.
You're listening to Gamers Digest, a podcast where your hosts put the controllers down just long enough to talk about gaming news, rumors, and anything else they can think of. Here are your hosts, Spider1 and Mr. Factastic.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Welcome back. It's
2014.
a whole new year for us to bore these people with gaming news they probably already know.
We're catching up on our second year.
Yeah, that's amazing. We have sat here, not here, but in front of the camera here for 2 years telling the news for something that we care about, and our lives have changed so much, and yet we still find something to talk about. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah, we took a pretty long break. It was the holidays. Just the way they fell, all the holidays pretty much fell right on our show day. So we couldn't really do a show over the weekend, over the last couple of weeks. But I had a lot of time to play some games.
I did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you sound a little funny, so we should probably throw out there you're a little under the weather.
I'm a little under the weather this show. So probably after this, I'm going to go get myself checked out.
Yeah.
Just
So,
to be
We
play it
normally
safe.
do Starbound, but we'll skip that tonight. So you can go to the emergency room and
do whatever.
yeah, whatever. But that's how dedicated you are. You were still doing the show, eating lozenges on the show. You are going to do whatever you can to make it through this. So we will.
We're here to talk about gaming news and rumors and all that stuff.
Right.
Got to do it.
So you
2 years
still had to
strong.
put the line in there. I was trying so hard. New year, new leaf, new website. I mean, we launched the new website.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. It's kind of similar to the old one. I didn't want to change it too much. There's still some more tweaks that we're going to do. Obviously, with new stuff, there's stuff that's going to break. There's, just whole new infrastructure behind it. So, we're working on it. So, over the break, what did you play?
I played XCOM Enemy Within finally. Some Battlefield 4. Thank courtesy of you.
Yeah.
What else did I play?
Merry Christmas.
Thanks. That was the main stuff. I did play a little bit of the Ninja Turtles arcade game, Out of Shadows. Just a little bit. There was a bunch of sales going on over the holidays, and I picked up Eternal Sonata for like $3. Ninja Turtles was on sale. Just a lot of. Also got Flashback for $3. So,
Oh, nice.
I didn't play it yet, but I have it.
You've been pounding away at Enemy Within.
Yeah, it's a good distraction, for when, because I've almost burnt myself out a little bit working too hard on my project. There's a lot of progress being made, so that's pretty cool. But it's good to take a break just to put my mind and focus it on something else.
Yeah, something not so serious.
Yeah.
Only Miley Cyrus dies rather than, your film career.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So, your movie's coming along really good. Like, you're looking to go into production soon, right?
Yeah, we're looking to start filming next month for sure. That's when people will finally start getting in front of the camera. And then it'll be spread out, getting people when we can. Because, I'm not really paying everybody to, show up and be here this day, this
right.
day.
It's not like a Hollywood shoot.
Yeah, a lot of people
like a job.
Yeah, a lot of people are, volunteering their time. So when they're available, we'll make it work. And it's cool because my project is, most of it, I want to say 90% of it's going to be in front of the blue or green screen. So I can kind of get away with an actor not being, in the scene with that other actor.
Yeah, that's
I can kind of
cool.
cut them together. And with the things that I know now, it's going to make it, it's going to be a lot easier.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So it's going to be cool. So next month we'll start filming.
And how long, I never asked this. So,
How long will it be?
Yeah, how long is the movie projected to be?
It's funny because when I originally wanted to do it, I wanted it to be like a 5 to 10 minute film,
Right.
like typical short film length. But then the Kickstarter was like a lot more successful than what it was I thought it could be. So I was like, okay, let me use this extra money to make a better film. And so right now it's going to be about 50 to 60 minutes.
Wow, it's going to be almost a full film then.
Yeah,
Actually, that is a full film.
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Like under film festival guidelines, a feature length is anything over 45 minutes. But
There you go.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'll definitely be that long.
And it's going to be available for free.
Be available for free online for anybody to watch. We're trying to make a deadline so something can be viewable at the next Power Morphicon convention.
At least like a full-length
Yeah,
trailer
it's like
or something like that.
Definitely a trailer. There'll definitely be
Right.
a trailer by then. Even if it's like an early, like in the film festival circuit, people release like not necessarily like betas or alphas of their,
Right.
but like an early cut.
Like sometimes I see on like IGN, I know that's a little more mainstream, but they do like the first 10 minutes of a movie really early.
Mm-hmm.
And like they did that with The Hobbit like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So stuff like that.
Yeah. So I want to try to have something to show at that convention if the film isn't ready to be, released. So
That would be pretty cool.
yeah, that'll be cool.
Well, I played a whole bunch of games. We did do Starbound. We did knock
Mhm.
some of that out. That's still coming out every Wednesday at noon Eastern time. But
Cool.
just look, it'll be up there. I finished Assassin's Creed 4. Like I said, I really wanted to start it and play it last
Mhm.
time we talked, and I finished it with about 75% completion, so I didn't get all the little
Cool.
crap. But I'm going to review that today because I promised that. I finished Batman Arkham Origins, the main storyline. I didn't wrap up all the villains because there's some optional villains.
Okay.
And then Enemy Within, I did play a little bit of that. I also currently really been playing Fallout New Vegas. I wasn't that intrigued with it to begin with. Like, I picked it up on a Steam sale, not even the current Steam sale. I picked it up on, like, the summer Steam sale when it was, like, $2 for the whole thing, all the, little DLCs and
Mhm.
crap like that. And, I tried it. I didn't really like it. It really wasn't as good as Fallout 3 or Skyrim to me, so then I kind of set it down. And then I was like, well, maybe I should give it another try. So I downloaded a whole bunch of mods, like HD texture packs, character packs, skins, models, stuff like that, all kinds of stuff. So like right now I'm running around as like StarCraft Ghost with the Ghost Rifle, just
Yep.
tearing stuff up. And I'm actually having a lot of fun with that. So I think that's another game where mods really make the game a lot better.
Definitely.
And then Hearthstone. I still been playing Hearthstone. That's like a good in-between game. Like you can pop in, do like a quick 10-minute game or something. Feel bad about yourself because some random guy beat you because your card selection sucks.
Yeah.
So I still haven't spent any money on it, so that's pretty cool.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so pretty busy. I wanted to do the Let's Play for Assassin's Creed 4, but I couldn't get it to record and play at the same time.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to find a Let's Play for something else. Maybe something less as in-depth as maybe an open world game.
Mm.
Something maybe straightforward.
Like-
But, we'll keep playing Starbound.
Visually in depth, or just like what's the
Just
text and
as open-ended. Like, I was talking to you yesterday about 7 Days to Die.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be something cool. Like, there's a couple of us looking at that. And it would be a lot like our Starbound series. But with more people, so that might be pretty
Yeah.
cool. Of course, people are still pushing me to get DayZ.
That's true.
I am less interested in DayZ now that they've announced, and I didn't put this in the news because it wasn't really huge news, but they announced that they don't have a target 2014 release date. Like, they're looking for 2015. So,
Wow.
alphas are cool. Like, I really like Starbound because that's technically an alpha.
Mm-hmm.
But, I really like Terraria. And they actually said Starbound's like 20% away from being completely completed. So it's a pretty far along alpha.
Yeah.
Whereas DayZ, they were like, no, this is like super alpha. So I think I'm going to wait on that.
Yeah.
Probably until maybe mid-year when it hits beta or something like that and it's a little more involved. And less people yelling out curse words over the microphone while they chase you for beans. Actually, that's the whole game, so I might not
pretty
wait
much.
for that to change.
Pretty much.
So there you
Yeah.
go. All right, we got some news. It's CES time. Michael Bay meltdowns notwithstanding, we did get some pretty big news. So we got that coming up a little later. Right now, let's talk about some small games, like Square Enix has basically confirmed, but not really confirmed, that the next gen Hitman game is canceled.
Yeah, the story was a little weird. It's like they said it was canceled, but then they said somebody else was doing it. So I think IO Interactive is going to be doing it instead of the.
It's jumping around. They did say for sure that a mobile Hitman game is coming, so we'll see how that goes. Hitman was actually one of their best-selling franchises last year with their newest game. It was ranked right under Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
So I guess Square Enix is really banking on Final Fantasy this year because they've got 15 might come out. X2, X and X2 remakes coming out. 13.3 is coming out. Kingdom Hearts 2.5 is coming out.
We got another story in here. I mean, Square Enix, they are pretty tough on themselves, though.
Right.
Like, we had a story last year how they didn't like how their sales were, even though their sales were pretty good.
Yeah, they sold like multiple units, millions of units of Tomb Raider, 1 million plus of Hitman, stuff like that. So
they expect nothing less than perfection.
I guess. I mean, you can't. I don't think they're ever going to make it back to that heyday of Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VI or 3 or whatever it was in the US, because there's more. There's more to choose from now. We're more informed. So it wasn't a choice of Final Fantasy or Earthbound. Now it's like Final Fantasy, Tales of whatever is current, another JRPG, Bravely Difficult is like a new one. There's like hundreds of JRPGs coming out.
There's a proliferation out there. This next story is pretty interesting. Resident Evil Outbreak File 2 for PS2 is playable.
You want to explain what that is? Because I can guarantee you most people probably don't know what that is.
It came out a long time ago, back on PS2. Basically, you needed the hard drive in order to run it. And it's like a survival horror, a team-based game. Back when survival horror was still kind of supposed to be scary. And you can team up with, I think, 4 other players. You had like 8 different characters to choose from. And, yeah, you just went through, it's like playing through a old-school Resident Evil game.
Now, that came out around Resident Evil 4, right?
Yes, it did. Capcom had announced all these games were going to be coming out for the Nintendo system, the GameCube. And then maybe like a year or so later, they announced Outbreak was coming out for PS2.
Right, and that's why a lot of people were, like you, were drawn to these, is because it was like the old school Resident Evil with the crappy controls and the turn and shoot and stop.
Exactly,
But it was survival horror.
It was survival horror, and it was real time.
Right. So that was pretty cool. Like, I played File, I guess the first one, was it just called File 1?
Just Outbreak.
Just Outbreak.
Yeah.
I played that, and I really liked that. But I never followed through with it just because more stuff came out and I kind of lost track of it. So this is kind of cool that somebody took the software up in Japan. It's very important.
Japanese only.
In Japan. Now, if you get a Japanese copy of the game, you can play it. Obviously over the internet.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I like seeing these stories. Mostly, I put this one in there for you because I knew you really like that, but. I like seeing these stories.
It was one of the last good Resident Evil games.
Take the, I guess, abandonware and fix it up so you can play it again. Like one of the big stories that people still talk about is the Noble 14, which was the last 14 people that played Halo 2, and they kind of stuck it out for that extra 2 months after Microsoft had already cut it. Like you couldn't make new games, but because these people were still in a game, it didn't kick them out. And there's documentation and there's a Wikipedia page how important this was to these 14 people, and I like seeing this kind of stuff, people taking it on their own. So I'd like to see more of this, people bringing older stuff back. Because people now can do that. Most people who are either in the industry or want to be in the industry have the know-how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and technology-wise, it doesn't take much to run a server for that.
No. It would be cool if I can get somebody to start up, what was the game? Siphon Filter, Omega Strain.
Multiplayer?
Yeah, that would be really cool if somebody can get a server up on that.
That was the only Siphon Filter I've ever played.
It was my favorite.
Like you're getting weepy thinking about it. You're like, oh, I missed that game.
Days.
Like an old girlfriend.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5. Lots of Metal Gear Solid 5 news this week. It got its rating, which was mature. Nobody was surprised about that. They also announced the map size, which apparently is like 100 times bigger than the prequel Ground Zero's map size.
You know what? I'm just gonna wait until Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out before I listen to or soak in any of this information because it could be confusing.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was confused when I read the story because I was like, wait, what does that mean? And then I did some research. I'm like, holy crap! It's like an open world Metal Gear game.
Yeah.
I was like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's like Ground Zeroes is Ground Zeroes and Metal Gear Solid 5 are in the same game.
Right.
And, but they're treating it as two different games. Ground Zero is kind of like the tutorial that teaches you how to do everything. And then, I'm just going to wait till it comes out. I'm not feeding into it at all. Because, they can be tricky.
You're not convincing me as you're explaining the game to me.
Well, that's what I found out last year. And then, I'm going to be done with it. Because, Kojima tricked us before.
Right.
On several occasions about, when they give us information and, the whole Phantom Pain thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's like,
What is that? That's another game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one. Well, that's what Metal Gear Solid 5 is called.
Oh, is
the
it?
Phantom Pain, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't played Metal Gear Solid since Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
So
Kojima's on something. He needs to get out of that box.
I picked up Metal Gear Solid 2. I played to the point where Snake leaves and you're Raiden. And I said, nope, I'm out.
Yeah. That was nobody expected that.
Yeah, because that was like that hour into the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much how Phantom Pain or Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to be set up. Where the tutorial is how the Tinker was in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay.
And then the rest of the game is, who knows? They're at least being forthcoming that there are two parts.
Yeah. Criterion co-founders leave EA to start their own company. This isn't something new. I mean, they did it once with Criterion, so I think they'll do pretty good.
Old Fallout games have been pulled from digital markets, and Bethesda Softworks is they're in our backyard. They're working on getting that up. Those are the older games.
Basically what it was the original company, what is it, Interplay?
I think so.
Lost all their rights to the Fallout name at the end of last year. Like they sold certain parts of it to Bethesda before, so Bethesda can make, Fallout 3, New Vegas, blah, 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 blah. Whereas the older games were still under that original company. Well, now that's gone. It's all Bethesda's, so they have to, re-get whatever it is, the marketing or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's actually the same thing Activision's going through right now.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. Where they lost several of their Marvel games, Shattered Dimensions,
Deadpool.
Edge of Time, but Deadpool, yeah.
Which Deadpool's only been out for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, Marvel vs. Capcom was affected too.
Yeah.
They actually say they think it's Marvel that pulled that, though. They think Marvel pulled all that stuff because they're re-evaluating their digital marketing. So, it's interesting. I mean, especially for games like Deadpool, who haven't really been available that long.
Mm-hmm.
You can still get the physical copies, but
digital. I'm not gonna wait about that.
I don't know. I bought Deadpool digital. I can still play it. I just if I delete it, I can't re-download it. Now I might be able to. Like Steam might house it somewhere. They just might not allow new purchases.
Okay. I wish I can get a new purchase for my Streets of Rage for Xbox Live. I can't believe they did that. Or the Ninja Turtle game.
Yeah.
They deleted. Like, I lost my copy. Can't re-download it.
They pulled all the Ninja Turtles except for the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
So,
DayZ First week of sales, over 400,000.
That's not bad for a super mega alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Hall basically, this is what I was talking about earlier. Dean Hall put out a roadmap of like updates that he wants to have. There's gonna be like a whole cooking system, better crafting, stuff like that. But no release in 2014. So that, like I said, that dissuaded me. But obviously, I'm not gonna make a big dent in their profit margin if they sold 400,000.
Yeah, they're well on their way to have 1 million. The Final Fantasy. What did you think about this? The Final Fantasy writer wants to see Final Fantasy X-3.
That I actually thought that was interesting. I want to know where they'd go with it because 10.2 really didn't wrap into the main story that much until the very end, and I've never beat it, so I've only read about it. But it kind of wraps up in a little bit in the end, but most of the time it's just Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, it was very Charlie's Angels. I mean, I think they're just trying to tap into that fan base, that old. They want to tap into that old school feel.
I bet you if the remake goes really well, like if that sells well, they'll do it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So Sony's dropping online play for actually a bunch of games like Mag, a bunch of their older games and
Resistance.
stuff like Resistance. And multiple times over the year, like the earliest one is like January 28th, which I think was Mag. I think Resistance is February, and then there are a few other ones. You can go onto the PlayStation blog and check out all of them. But if you're still playing some older PlayStation games, you may want to check that. Now, keep in mind this is mostly first party stuff. So other games like Uncharted and stuff like that, so far are going to remain open.
Let's see.
So Games for Gold.
Yeah. Oh yes, Games for Gold.
What is Games for Gold giving out this
month so far? I did download Sleeping Dogs, which was out for PS3 back in like the summer.
Yeah, so Sleeping Dogs is a relatively new game, so you could say Games for Gold is kind of on the right track.
Yeah.
Well, PlayStation Plus is kind of like, whoa, let me show you how this is done. So PlayStation Plus owners this month get Devil May Cry, the new one. So if you're a fan of the hack and slash, definitely pick that up. I did a few Let's Play videos for that. It's really good. If you're a fan of that genre. Obviously, if you don't like hack and slash, you're not going to like it. BioShock Infinite. Yeah, that is huge.
Do you think that was somewhat deliberately?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Like there is no way they would drop a Game of the Year winner because it won in multiple places, and then contender.
That game is still worth something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have PlayStation Plus, pick up BioShock Infinite. It is not only is it a good shooter, but the story, just like any BioShock, is really, really good. So I did a review on it. You can find it on our YouTube page. I basically gave it a pretty much perfect score. So there you go. That's for PS3. There's also a free Vita game. There's also a free PS4 game, which is Don't Starve, which is probably one of the Game of the Year contenders last year for indie game and Game of the Year overall.
Okay.
So it's like a almost a survival horror type game, but it's free. So definitely check that out if you got a PS4. If not, pick up BioShock Infinite. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So this was another interesting story. The original Doom has you can play it with Resident Evil characters. It's like my throat's starting to.
Yeah, I can tell you're struggling. We're almost there. You can play as the mercenary.
Yeah, mercenary characters from Resident Evil 4. It looked cool.
Yeah, like I almost got the video for that, but then I was like, nah, people can go check that out on their own. They've seen Doom, they've seen Resident Evil.
It'll be in the show notes.
Imagine Doom with Resident Evil characters. It's the first one, but it's kind of cool that like they tweaked it so that the characters have their own moves still. So like you can still snap decks and you like throw knives.
Yeah, it was really neat. You need to have Doom installed. You need to have certain mods on there,
right,
in order to run it.
It was pretty cool though. Hearthstone, like I said, good time waster, which is supposed to go into open beta by the end of last year. obviously didn't make that. So they said it's probably going to be early this year, which
Yeah.
is kind of like a duh thing. If it didn't come last year, it's going to come this year.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye out for that. They did say that closed beta is still available if you opt in. And anybody who opted in before like December 13th or something is in. So pretty much it's almost open.
In
beta.
like Flynn.
Yep. EA has 3 lawsuits against it for Battlefield 4. How does that make you feel?
That suck. I mean, I only played it once technically. I didn't get too far, and I only played 2 maps. You know, after I finish up
The aliens.
Aliens, yeah, I'll get back to it. I'm feeling weird.
Yeah, I can tell. So we'll move through this. Sony announced this PlayStation Now service, which is basically a streaming service. We talked about it on and off. That's basically where you can stream the PlayStation
This
games.
is the link to their Gaikai
yes.
that they got. Yeah,
So
it's finally starting to see light.
So, sales numbers have come out for last year for total units sold of Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
Xbox has sold 3 million units.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation has sold 4.2 million units of PS4s and Xbox Ones, respectively. So, I think it's going right how we predicted it.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, that's almost right on.
Right on the money, yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you think PlayStation will keep its lead, or do you think as soon as Xbox starts getting some good
Games, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know, because I mean, really, are you really going to spend the $500 to buy a new system just to buy that game? You know, you're going to spend almost $600 right there.
right?
Whereas you can get the PS4 for $400, and you can spend just as much on the PS4 and get more out of it.
Yeah,
So
I agree. So there you go.
and I'm just speaking as a consumer.
Now they also announced a whole bunch of Steam machines, varying hardware specs. They talked about $500 price point, which obviously is going right after the Xbox and PlayStation, all the way up to the $4,600 price range, which is definitely going after the 1%. So that's pretty cool that they announced all that. But at CES, they also announced Razer's new concept project called Project Christine. So we'll play the video for that, and you can let your throat rest for a minute.
Yeah.
You almost made it. Almost made it. I could have waited, but I'm a jerk. So, Project Christine. Not like your old girlfriend, but
No.
that blew my mind. Like that. So far at CES, other than the Michael Bay meltdown, that was the coolest thing that I saw. And I say Michael Bay meltdown, but I still don't think it's really a meltdown.
Nah.
That's amazing. Like, I don't know how much it's going to cost. It's early concept, but the idea of a fully modular computer to me just, it's like,
Yeah, that's so you can just like add whatever you want to it.
yeah, it's like putting CPU in, RAM, video card, the whole shebang. It's probably going to be pretty expensive,
That's what I'm thinking. It looks so cool that it looks expensive.
but the modular design of it would almost make it worth it to some people. Obviously, probably not to me, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that A, have the money,
Mhm.
and B,
the 1%.
yeah, I don't think it'll be that expensive.
Yeah.
I think it'll be more consumer ready than that, but I definitely think it'll be upper tier. So we'll see how much the base costs. Obviously, different components are going to cost different things as
Mhm.
well. So, but that was the coolest thing I saw at CES.
Yeah, it did look cool.
And Razer knows how to make those like
Yeah, that
hype
ad,
videos.
Yeah, that ad was pretty cool. I mean, that was my first time seeing it because I couldn't play it on my computer. It was like chugging.
Yeah, it's like, it has the zooms and the pans.
Mhm.
And they did that last year
the
with
lens
the
flares.
yeah, they did that last year with their tablet. So they know what they're talking about.
They have a good ad guy, marketing guy.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Assassin's Creed 4.
It looked cool when I saw it.
Yeah, and when you heard them singing, because I'm sure you heard them singing
Yeah, I did
quite a
hear
bit. So let's play the video. Assassin's Creed 4. This is on the PC, but it's also on every other dang system ever. Because Ubisoft doesn't care. Assassin's Creed 4 follows the life of Edward Kenway. He is the grandfather of Connor, who is in Assassin's Creed 3, which now that I've mentioned him, we will not mention that game ever again. If you can't tell, I really didn't like Assassin's Creed 3. It was a game that I had high hopes for, because that's one of my favorite time periods, Human Revolution. That's in 40 years against Skynet. But American Revolution, and they blew it. Like, it was slow, it was tedious, the story, Connor had no personality, whereas Edward, on the other hand, is completely the opposite. He is all personality, he does what he wants, he's a pirate. The biggest complaint people had about this game is they were like, oh, it's a pirate game, how assassin-like is that? And I thought about this for a long time, and I'm like, I don't really care. Like, honestly, the assassin-y parts, and yes, I just said assassin-y.
Create new words here.
The assassin-y parts are really good. Like, they stick to the core gameplay. The stealth mechanics work well. The actual fighting mechanics aren't anything special, but then you're supposed to be stealthing through it, so... but the pirate parts are amazing.
Yeah, it just looks cool.
This is like the core part of the game, and this is why I chose this video. Like, I could have showed him free running, or I could have showed him, sneaking in on people and jumping on them. But that's such a small part of the game.
And that we've already seen.
Right.
Like, for 5 or 6 games.
Whereas the ship, which they took the ship combat from 3 and made it much, much better, and obviously a core part of the story, and just made it fun. Like, the main reason I got so far collectible-wise is just because I wanted to go out there and do stuff on the ship. So it was a lot of fun. Graphics-wise, it looked good. Like,
yeah, especially on the PC.
Yeah, once they... Like, I had some performance problems initially, and obviously I still did once I tried to record. But after I gave up on that and just went back, they pushed out an update, and that update made the game look amazing. The only downside was it made the smoke too real. So you'll see in like some of these videos that you can't really see after you fire cannons. But other than that, the combat was fun. The ship feels like a ship, like it handles well, but not so well. There's the full upgrading system. They brought the crafting system over from Far Cry 3. There's just a crap ton of stuff to do in this game, and all of it was fun. Honestly, the story had its ups and downs. Like, there were certain points where it was kind of like, I'd rather go do something else. But it wasn't to the point where 3 was, where I had no interest in the story. Like, I still wanted to see what happened next.
You didn't feel like you were forcing yourself.
Right. And there was always something to kind of take away from the TDM or stuff like that. They broke the mission structures up just enough. Characters like Blackbeard and Hawthorne and stuff like that were good characters. So the other side of it is multiplayer. I did try multiplayer, and I actually really liked it, but it's kind of one of those things where I have to play it a lot to get good at it. So I kind of shied away from that, but that was pretty good. Overall, I mean, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10.
Cool.
So, yeah, it looks cool. When it comes up for Games for Gold in 7 years, definitely pick it up. PlayStation Plus, pick it up in a couple months. Otherwise, you can pick it up on the next Steam sale for probably like $10.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that'll do it. We do have a deal of the week. It's actually at Best Buy. I wanted to do a store this week, just because we always do online stuff.
Mhm.
So, Best Buy has a couple good sales. They have the Skyrim Legendary Edition for $29.99. So Skyrim all DLC for $30. Great deal. If Skyrim's not your thing, you can also get an Xbox Live 3-month card for $14.99.
That's a good, nice deal.
Yeah, it's $10 off, so why not?
Mm-hmm.
So
Not bad.
check out our Starbound videos every Wednesday. Check out the new page, new layout, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think that's going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to do it.
It's playoff times for football,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're-
None of our teams are in it.
yeah, we're not going to do picks.
Yeah.
We're all going for the Chargers because they're the team of destiny.
Yeah, they are. Or I would also like to see a sophomore quarterback Super Bowl
Oh, yeah.
with Andrew Luck versus Russell Wilson.
Your Seahawks.
Yeah.
So there you go. Short show tonight, but every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, usually 8 to 9. First show back of the year, kind of get back in the groove.
Mm-hmm.
You're not feeling well. And there was a dog barking for the first half of the show.
Yeah.
So I say we hit it with a running stride and fell midway through.
Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good.
We did pretty good.
2014.
Woo!
Yay.
Maybe next week we'll have a special guest if she's
Not cranky.
yeah, if she's not cranky. She almost made it. She almost made it on the show today. We did get a good picture of her.
Yeah.
So otherwise, we'll see you next week. Like I said, Tuesdays 8 o'clock.
Gamers Digest is a Spider One and Mr. Factastic production. All characters and games are owned by their respective companies and are used under the Fair Use Law. Check out Gamers Digest at gamersdigest.me, on YouTube under Gamers Digest Podcast, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at The Gamers Digest. Viewer questions and comments can always be sent to gamersdigestpodcast@gmail.com. See you next week.